Well, good morning, adventurers.
Good morning.
And welcome to Texas.
We made it, y'all.
We're in Texas, finally.
Texas.
Our home away from the home that we don't have, I guess.
No,
I don't know.
But our legal home.
Yeah, technically we're Texas residents. I know we always say this. It's probably really confusing, but our license plate on this old gal is from Texas.
Yeah.
So she's home, finally. I gotta admit, when we started this trip, I was like 50-50 whether or not we would even make it down to Texas. But we haven't really had any problems with Clementine. She's ran great. She's fired right up every time.
Every time.
Yeah.
It's like it's a motorhome that actually drives like it's supposed to. Who would have thought?
So you guys know we mentioned we are going to be traveling to Mexico. We realized that we may have confused y'all. We're not driving the RV to Mexico.
No.
Not yet anyway. We
Not
will
yet.
probably eventually. But we're just flying down there because we're going to meet up with some old friends down there. So stay tuned for that. It's going to be
Yeah.
some familiar faces.
And we're meeting them in the Yucatan Peninsula, so it would be quite a
Yeah.
drive to get down there. So,
Yeah.
but hopefully Mexico will be on the path for Clementine one day.
And we did hope to squeeze in a lot more adventures before that trip. But Allison's been feeling a little under the weather.
Yeah, it's been pretty sad if you can't tell by my voice. I just kind of lost it one day. I took a test. It says it's not COVID, but we've just been laying low, just taking the precautions. So sadly, that means we haven't been out adventuring as much as we wanted to.
Yeah, and now it's time for our flight in a couple days. So
Yeah.
our ultimate goal was to drop this off at a body shop that was going to fix that damage right up there when the semi sideswiped us, if you guys remember that. But I called them up and they were like, we can't get to this for another 2 months. I was like,
Yeah.
well, that's not going to work.
So we kind of rushed down to Texas for no reason.
Yeah,
But
we're glad to be here.
yeah, happy to be here for sure. But that just means while we're gone, the work is not going to be done, which is a bit unfortunate. So that's okay. It'll get done eventually. And we had a fun trip getting down here. All good.
We are a couple hours outside of Dallas. We are going to make our way into Dallas. We have a spot that we are going to be parking this rig for the next month or so while we're traveling out of the country. Then we're going to come back and resume our adventures. Haha.
Then back on the road, and that time really indefinitely,
Yeah.
because we have no plans after this trip.
So now that we've been on the road for over a week with Clementine, this is the longest trip by far that we've taken with her, we wanted to share with you guys some of our ups and downs, our pros and cons, and basically just whether or not we think we're cut out for the full-time RV lifestyle.
Yeah, it's been a real learning curve being out with no safety net or anything. We've learned a lot, we've realized a lot of things, and we thought we'd share it with you guys.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing that on our way over to Dallas. If you guys have followed the renovation on this RV, you know that we've had a lot of frustration, a lot of anxiety, a lot of lows, a lot of highs too, but we grew to associate the inside of this with pain and struggle. So we were afraid when we took it out full time that that's how it would be. On the road, we would never be able to relax inside of it.
It took a lot from us emotionally and mentally, and we just didn't know if we could get over that when she was done, if we would ever feel like it was really home, or if it would always just feel like a work in progress that we would never actually finish.
Yeah. But we're happy to say that while it is still a work in progress, we have been blown away by how comfortable we feel in this thing. It just feels like our home now. I thought that I would be sitting on the couch and just staring at every imperfection. It would drive me nuts, but you really don't notice it once you're chilling in there and just having a drink and cooking and doing your thing.
Now that I've lived in there, I see it just as a cohesive unit, and I've kind of forgotten about all the little nail holes here, the little imperfections there. It just feels like a cozy overall home.
So I guess you could say the traumatic memories that we have associated with this are slowly being replaced by happy memories.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's what I've always dreamed of.
The next really positive thing that we've noticed about the rig is that power really hasn't been a problem. We don't have that much solar on it, but we really don't use that much power and we haven't run out when we're off the grid. And we also have propane for our heat and our water heater. So as long as that's full, we can go a pretty long time, even with the heat blasting all night. And if we were in moderate climates like it is out here today, we didn't even use the heater last night. But of course, when we're at the campsites, we just plug in, we charge it up, and then you got all the power you need.
One thing I really appreciate about Clementine is all the windows. I didn't realize how helpful that would be when you're on the road, to just really feel like you're not in a little small cave. It really feels open, and that we get so much sunshine in there, and it just lights the whole place up, which I love.
But it's not all sunshine and rainbows, you guys. So we are going to hop back in the rig and we're going to make our way to Dallas, and along the way share with you guys some more of the positives, but also a lot of the frustrations that we've run into. Some we anticipated, some we didn't really anticipate. All right,
I guess that's it.
shot over, cut. One really great aspect is that we weren't sure if we'd have enough space in here, but we do. Turns out we really don't need that much space as far as just like day-to-day living.
We've done a lot of van life at this point, and we really hate that we can't get by each other in the walkway or the common areas of it. In this, we never bump into each other. We're never in each other's way. There's so much room. We even had a third person in here for 3 days, and we still didn't run into each other.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
And while it does feel like a large space for us, it is still a small space,
Right.
just objectively. So it gets cluttered very fast. So every time you set something on a surface, you set one thing, then another thing, then another thing, and then before you know it, every surface in here is covered with stuff. Clothes, food that you're going to be cooking, drinks that you're drinking, all kinds of stuff. Yeah, we work on
little projects and put tools out and stuff, and everything just clutters immediately. So then you have to clean up every single day, which I guess probably you should be doing in your home anyway, but we were hoping that it would stay a little tidier.
But we are working on that, and part of that is just having a nice, neat home for every single thing, like all the dishes, all the clothing, all that stuff, and then just making sure to put it back in that home.
Yeah.
So we'll get better at that, hopefully. Although it doesn't help that we have a bunch of uncompleted projects. Like, for example, this is our generator door right here on the floor beneath this shot. This is something that we have yet to install. It goes on the outside, and we have grand plans for this, but we didn't want to leave it behind, just on the off chance that we have time to install it. But for now, this is where it is when we drive.
So now it sits on our floor, and the other day I walked back here, y'all, and it cut me up real good.
Yeah.
I don't know what the heck I did.
It's pretty rough.
Stuff like that. It'll be nice once our closet is organized. Right now, everything is literally thrown in there. Same with all of our cabinets. We'll get little cubbies and drawers and everything, and we'll make everything organized one day. Which brings me to my next point. Functionality. I don't know how, but I think we freaking nailed the design in here. Just how we utilize the space. I can't think of anything that we missed. We have chairs, we have a hangout space with the couch, we have a fully functioning kitchen that with plenty of room, a huge bathroom, a huge shower.
We have a gigantic fridge that is so big, but it doesn't seem like it takes up much space at all because it's built into the countertop over here. And of course, the couch that we're sitting on pulls out to a bed. Mm-hmm. So you can have two other people sleeping in here very, very comfortably.
Yeah.
We have the ability to move things out of the way. We have our staircase, so we're not fiddling with a ladder to get up to the bunk or anything like that. The composting toilet that we have in the bathroom has been very, very interesting.
We have a bit of a love-hate relationship with it.
Yeah.
It looks great. It fits perfectly, and we love that about it. But this pee tank, which is currently full. Maybe we should have emptied that before we did this start.
But now you know, this is what it ends up being like.
That's very gross. But it is so small. When we had our friend Matt in here, we filled it up in one night. It's just pretty annoying to dump it, and it smells horribly.
Not while it's in here, but when you take it out and dump it, you can smell it.
Yeah.
Luckily, while it's in here, you can't smell anything.
No, but you have to, you have to be hooked up to sewage to dump it, or you have to take it into a public restroom and dump it in the toilet. And so you just have to be very mindful of how much is in here because you cannot overflow it or else it's a disaster. Luckily, the backside for the number 2s is huge. We have had no complaints with that.
Until we have to clean it out.
Which we're going to have to do, I think, later today. Eventually, we will get a second one of these so that once one fills up, we can cap it off and store it and put the other one in here. So it'll buy us a little more time, by a few more days at least. Ultimately, what we would love to do, though, is put a tube from here down into a tank below. But we'll see. That might be a years down the road kind of thing.
And he did this too?
He did. Yeah, we were surprised. It turned out really good.
How much did you get for him?
He just gave them to us.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. He worked in an RV shop in Indiana.
No shit.
He was a viewer of ours, and he said, hey, I'll send you some chairs.
No shit.
We said, all right. And then he sent these over and put our logo on them.
All right, well, good luck.
Yeah, see ya. There's a guy at the campground who has a Tioga over there. It's about the size of ours. Mm-hmm. I don't know if y'all can see it, but apparently he watches us on YouTube.
Yeah. If you're watching this, Dave, it was lovely meeting you.
Yeah, he's a super nice guy.
Yeah.
He's got a sweet Tioga there. I mean, he needs work just like ours did, but damn, you can do a lot with that.
And he had a kitty cat, but it was a little skittish.
All right, anyways, we're back on the road. We're heading to Dallas. Maybe make a stop or two along the way. We're chill, we're easy. We're living the RV life, y'all.
Retired life.
Yeah. We keep making a joke that we're retired, but we're not.
We're still working full time.
We spend a lot of time working for being retired.
Yeah, I'm gonna get in the retired mindset today. Just chill.
Let's do it. Look what we found, y'all. It's a giant cow. 2 giant cows, actually.
2 of them.
This is one thing we always wanted to do when we had Clementine, was just stop at goofy roadside attractions like this. This is actually the Southwest Dairy Museum. They have a whole barn complex over here that I guess has a bunch of dairy history stuff. I'm
Yeah, I
not
think
sure.
it's supposed to be about dairy farming prior to electricity, something like that.
So one other con that we wanted to talk about, which I guess is just inevitable, is just dealing with the weather, mainly when it's pouring down rain.
Yeah, it's sprinkling right now, so we thought it was appropriate. So you remember the other day when we had to unhook from our campsite and leave, and it was pouring down rain, and we got absolutely soaked, just trying to unhook everything and button everything up. And when it's freezing cold outside, one day we set up in the snow. So getting set up and tearing down in the weather, not my favorite thing.
Yeah, and then even if you have waterproof clothing, when you hop back on the rig, it's dripping everywhere and it gets everything wet and you don't know what to do with it all.
Yeah, we had everything piled in our shower and hung over our shower head and the curtain and stuff. It just kind of became a mess in there.
So I think this bit of travel that we've done has kind of made us realize that we like just the kind of temperate, moderate weather. I mean, you can't do anything about rain, but when it's freezing cold outside, it's just frustrating a little bit, you know?
It's not pleasant. So I think we'll become maybe winter Texans.
Yeah.
And we'll just head down south whenever the weather turns.
All right, we're going to get back on the road, but before we do that, we are going to take a peek inside the Dairy Museum.
Let's
bum.
see how it all goes down.
It's the worst shot ever.
I know, you just had
What am I
my
doing?
frizzy hair in the shot.
With this old rig, you do have to fill up a lot. However, we've only been driving about 2 hours a day, 3 hours a day or so.
3 hours.
Yeah, and you can pretty much do that on a tank, so it hasn't been that bad. And we figure, you know, I know that it's a gas guzzler and gas is expensive, but to be able to transport your home from spot to spot anywhere in the state seems like a small price to pay, you know? One downside, though, is that we've been using this ethanol-free fuel. And the reason for that is that they just kind of recommend for older engines to not have ethanol in the fuel mixture. I don't really know that much about it, but I do know that ethanol is about 30 cents more right now, about 10% more per gallon, so that sucks. But we put all that time and money and effort into the engine, we're gonna keep it as clean as humanly possible. Plus, you get to use a fancy little blue handle. Guess where we are, you guys? We're at Buc-ee's.
It's Clementine's first trip to Buc-ee's.
It's our favorite gas station in the world. If you guys missed it, a long time ago, we actually did a whole tour of the biggest gas station in the country, which is actually a Buc-ee's here in Texas. We'll link to that in the description below and put it on the screen right now so you can check it out. Obviously, one of the downsides is that this old rig is pretty loud. It actually sounds a lot worse on camera than it actually is in real life. We were surprised that once we put all the stuff back here, we put the curtain here, we put the doghouse on and secured it, we can actually have a conversation in here and it's really not that bad.
You have to talk a little above normal volume,
Yeah.
though. And we definitely can't listen to any music, which is pretty sad.
Yeah, well, we don't even have a radio, which we're in the process of sorting that. I have a radio with me under her seat, actually. I just haven't installed it. But driving this old rig is actually pretty nice because we go 55 or 60, we stay in the right lane, everybody passes us, and we just chill.
It's really easy. You hardly ever have to stop or brake, which is fantastic. And we try to only pick routes where our rig will fit. We try to avoid all back roads at all costs.
Yeah. Of course, we have our comfortable new seats, which you guys saw us install, so it's a pretty cozy ride. It's not too bad. One thing we have kind of decided is that we are going to attempt to tow a car, possibly when we get back, because one of the downsides is that you guys have seen when we want to leave, we have to get everything secure back here and then drive this old rig.
Yeah.
Which once you get everything secure and stuff, it drives just fine. We haven't had any trouble. But it's a whole process that you have to do, and it's easy to forget stuff.
Yeah, you know, we can't go downtown in this or anything, so we have to avoid some parts of town or restaurants or shops that we would potentially go to if we had a regular car.
We've got about less than an hour to Dallas now. We are going to pick up our rental car. We're going to drop the RV off at long-term storage, and then Bob's your uncle.
I guess we'll be done.
Yeah. There she is, y'all. That's what we're trading in Clementine for. A red Kia Soul, baby.
Matches my hair.
How's she feel?
Like not my car.
You feel more at home in this old rig?
Yeah, I do. Aw, I miss her already. I've never driven a Kia Soul before. At least it'll be kind of fun, right? All right. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.
I have the keys?
They're on the dash.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Bye. Made it to the storage facility.
Yeah, now we just have to unpack our whole lives, I guess. So we can't leave any food or beverages in the RV, and we have a lot of dirty clothes that we need to wash. So we're moving out again from the RV into the Kia to our Airbnb to wash a load of clothes, bring it back, and fly off to Mexico. We got a whole freaking racket going on here, y'all.
It's gonna be below freezing for a day or two, which is so freaking annoying. So we have to drain everything. We have to leave the water heater on. But then we're gonna come back out here and clean some stuff up.
Yeah.
So I think we're gonna put this away because the rest of the night from here is gonna be very, very boring.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you tomorrow.
We're back at the RV, y'all. We've actually just been in Dallas for the last few days, mainly because we needed to do a whole bunch of laundry, which we have right here,
We washed everything.
and a bunch of our clothes that we're gonna be taking with us on the trip.
Yep.
We had to go to the doctor. We had to run some other errands. Yeah, we're trying to be responsible, you know?
Yeah, so now we are just bringing all of our clean stuff back to the RV, doing one little last deep clean before we hit the road tomorrow, fly to Mexico.
Well, this is the end of the road for us. We're hitting the skies tomorrow, y'all.
Or these past couple weeks in Clementine went by way too fast.
Yeah, but we're excited to do some more international travel. It's kind of an open-ended trip, but we probably will be gone for probably a month or so. Then we're gonna be back. We're gonna be going all over the place in this girl, doing more projects on the inside, all kinds of stuff. We did want to give you guys our final thoughts, though. We've really been talking about it a lot, just all the pluses and minuses of the RV life. I think one of the big things, and we've said this before, but we probably would, if we could do it all again, we would get a pole behind.
Well, Clementine is pretty small compared to a lot of other RVs, and she can get a lot of places. She can't get everywhere, and she definitely can't do any dicey driving on roads or in inclement weather. So having a detachable vehicle would be huge.
Another improvement that I wanted to mention, you guys, that we would do on the inside of this thing is getting a ceiling AC unit that also doubles as a heat unit. Our same one, if you upgrade it, actually has a heat pump inside of it, and then you can run the heat when you're plugged in. Because we did run out of propane once on this trip and had to scramble around to get propane.
It was freezing outside, and then it got very freezing inside. In fact, the heat was so low that the gauge wasn't even detecting any heat.
But that's something we can fix just by upgrading the AC, which we'll do way down the road probably.
But I will say, if the only thing we will fix is adding like a backup heater option and getting something to tow or to pull, like, we kind of did it, y'all. We kind of made the inside our perfect dream RV.
So the question is full-time RV life right for us? We didn't really expect ourselves to be full-time living in this, like living 6 months or a year at a time.
Right.
We always wanted to kind of go out, do these little trips, but then when we were done with it, park it somewhere and hop the plane. So that's what we're doing.
You guys know we love traveling all over the world, seeing the sights everywhere. And while we are very excited to see the US, maybe Canada and Mexico in this gal, we definitely have a lot of places on our bucket list. So it will continue to be a lot of Clementine on the road and then us flying somewhere and then being on the road somewhere else.
We'll see what we get up to, you guys. But boy, are we so excited that this worked out. We still can't believe it. The inside is functional. We're proud of all the work we've done in there. When people come in there, they're usually pretty impressed, or at least they say they are. So that's nice of them.
And after our full week, the only thing that broke was our kitchen cabinet door. And we knew that was coming. We just forgot to change out the screw. So maybe nothing actually even did break.
I'm gonna say nothing broke.
Nothing broke.
We did it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Even y'all, when we drive down the road, it's like a constant earthquake in there, and everything cracks and squeaks and creaks and everything, but nothing breaks, nothing flies off, nothing comes unhinged. I think we are better at this than we think we are, maybe.
You guys will have to be the judge of that. I don't know. All right, we've rambled enough, you guys. We have got to go prepare for our flight tomorrow, pack up, and then we're gonna be hitting the skies.
Hitting the skies. All right, goodbye, adventurers.
We'll see you on the road, or in the skies tomorrow, and on the road probably. Whatever.